Whenever you're shopping for a monitor, you're going to be seeing terms like Freesync and G-Sync. So what do they mean? That's what we'll be taking a look at in this video. Hey guys, Joey here from the Techies, back with another video. Today guys, we'll be taking a comparison look at G-Sync and Freesync. So before we dive into what these technologies are and what problems they solve and how they do about doing this, let's take a look at the underlying problem, which every PC gamer has come across, and that is, of course, screen tearing. That's what happens when you see this. This is screen tearing. Screen tearing is caused by too many images being sent by the video card to the monitor. For example, you might have a video card that's sending out 110 frames per second to a monitor that can only run 60 Hz, which means that the monitor can only put up 60 frames per second, sometimes resulting in screen tearing. So then Freesync was developed, which on a basic level tells your video card to slow down so that it matches the refresh rate of the monitor with what the video card is outputting. Now, this can run into problems in situations where a computer performance is tested by sudden explosions, sudden objects, sudden gunfire, and you can see this in a lot of games where all of a sudden you have a lot of conflict in a lot of actions, in particular physics actions, which will put a lot of strain on your video card. Therefore, it will require the video card to actually have some more push to it. But if you're limiting the power that you're allowing your video card to run out, then you're going to drop in frame rate. And when you drop in output frame rate, then therefore you're going to run into lag occasionally. And this is all because, say for example, your monitor is running at 60 frames per second, so therefore Freesync says, okay, GPU, run your games at 60 frames per second, don't go over that, don't struggle to go over that. But what if there's suddenly an explosion and your computer can only output 40 frames per second? And therefore you have that 20 frame gap, which is turning into lag. So as you know, lag is the gamer's worst nightmare. So therefore AMD and NVIDIA reached out to their individual brands and developed two different separate technologies that do the same purpose essentially, and they are called Freesync and G-Sync. So to solve this lag problem, NVIDIA and AMD set out to develop their own different technologies called G-Sync and Freesync. Freesync and G-Sync will do the same thing as Freesync from an opposite angle. What they do is they match the refresh rate of the monitor to the output of the frames from the GPU. So for example, if you have a 60 Hz monitor and you're running at 60 frames per second from an output of a GPU, then, for example, if all of a sudden you drop to 45 frames as an output from 60 frames, then it will drop the refresh rate of the monitor from 60 Hz to 45 Hz, keeping it on the same level and therefore not resulting in lag like you would have when you're running Freesync alone. What this means is that it will allow Freesync to solve the problem of screen tearing, while also allowing you to solve the problem of lag that could result possibly from running Freesync and all of a sudden running into massive performance drops. So which one's better? Well, honestly, that's really hard to say, seeing that G-Sync is only compatible with NVIDIA cards and G-Sync compatible monitors, and Freesync is only compatible with AMD cards and Freesync enabled monitors. So therefore it's a really hard comparison, especially when you have so many variables like the monitor, the price of the monitor, the quality of the monitor, the brand of the monitor, as well as the video card, the architecture of the video card. General video card information is all different across brands. So therefore, honestly, it's a hard thing to answer, and that's not even taking into account the massive difference in architecture between AMD's cards and NVIDIA cards. It's kind of really a hard thing to answer, and there's no real explanation. All I can really say is that Freesync is much more affordable for developers to implement into their monitors, seeing that G-Sync requires a special module that has to be put into the monitor, which means that they have to make space and engineer space for this module to go and implement it into their monitor, which is extremely hard in today's market, seeing that everyone wants everything to be smaller. That's a hard thing to answer to, especially when the module itself adds $100 to $200 onto the price tag, and then you have to add cost for development. And that becomes a problem, especially because you isolate half the market by not allowing a good purchase for a AMD user, seeing that they can't even utilize the expensive part that's in the monitor. So for example, you might only sell 10,000 units while needing 100,000 units to be sold to even pay back for the development costs of this additional monitor. On the AMD side with Freesync, that's not the case. See, AMD's Freesync technology uses the standard adaptive sync technology, which is standard in all monitors, no matter whether they're G-Sync, Freesync, or no sync. So therefore, it's no more expensive for developers to implement Freesync, at least in a significant amount, to their monitors. And that's why you see a ton more Freesync monitors for much, much less. For example, check out our recent review on a monitor right over here that costs just above $100 and has Freesync enabled. It's definitely a better deal. Overall, guys, you shouldn't be basing your video card purchase on what adaptive sync technology you want to use in the future. It's just good to know what technology is available to you on each side and what those terms mean and what that means, especially for people that are looking at monitors that are G-Sync and actually have AMD cards. That's a huge mistake, and that's a pricey mistake at the same time. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Make sure you check out some of our other videos. I'm sure you'll have some interest somewhere, and don't forget to subscribe. See you guys in the next video.